Bert?
Oh,
Hey guys,
Hey,
hello.
it's good
speak
to
of the
see you.
devil. Good
Who's
to
the
see.
devil?
Aw,
Which one of us is the devil and which is the angel?
That's right.
well, just for anybody that's watching on YouTube, this is Justice for Hire's Tai Chi to the People. We do it every week as part of the Justice for Hire cinematic universe. So anyone who's part of the cast, and even if you're not, you can come and join and train Tai Chi. It's a great martial art that gives you a bunch of strength in any discipline that you do. And every week it's completely free. And anyone who wants to donate to the cause of the week can, and you can do that normally through our Instagram. Right on our page, we tell you what noble cause we're dedicating our training to that week, and you can donate directly to them. Or it'll be on my page, my website, janstaichi.com. At the bottom, there'll be a Tai Chi to the People link, and that'll take you to the GoFundMe that we're supporting that week. And this week we are still supporting a community member's family that is paying for medical bills, and they asked us to put a GoFundMe link there. So you can just go and check that out and support if you like the class. So with that said, I'm Jan, and what's going on, guys? Let's do some training. It's good to see you guys.
Yeah.
I've been sitting and editing fairly still, so I'm a little bit chilly with this wonderful, wonderful cool breeze that's coming in. So it's good times. But we will.
You said it's cold there?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh.
We get some cool breezes, so it's good stuff. All right, so in Tai Chi, we'll start out with our feet. We focus on posture first. So feet parallel, shoulder length apart, imaginary straight and through, right from the top of the head. And the whole body dangles, should feel like it's dangling from that straight, falling straight downward. So your posture lifted up, and then the spine, muscles around the spine soften, tailbone falls straight down, the vertebrae gently extending, getting farther away from each other in distance. The palms will be facing flat down, palms flat down, with special attention on the middle finger of each hand. The arms are very relaxed, but not locked at all. Just very relaxed, palms facing straight down, and the fingers and toes in the same direction, everything pointing forward. Mouth is closed and the tongue is rested on the ceiling of your mouth. Very, very gentle. Not a hard press, just placed up there. And all the breathing is in and out through the nose. And for the breathing, you want to use your base diaphragm, essentially the belly area, to pull the oxygen in. And when you do so, you want to give that sensation of breathing, the stream of air coming in, a visualization, a color of some sort, whatever intuitively comes to you. And see it pull down into the belly, gathering in the belly, specifically about 3 finger lengths below the belly button. You want to see the color splash into that area and fill up. And when you exhale, you want to visualize it, seeing it go up, and then through the shoulders, down the arms to the palms and fingertips, about an inch or two beyond. Inhaling into the belly. Exhaling down the arms and the palms and fingertips. Inhaling deep. Exhale, wash it down the arms to the palms and fingertips. And with this breathing, we're giving our attention a vehicle through the visualization. Wherever we're visualizing the body, it's where our attention goes. The blood circulation increases, the nerves fire that much more readily in that area. So you want to inhale into the belly, see the color gather. Exhale, wash it down the arms to the palms and fingertips. Let it fall. Inhaling up. Exhale, wash the color out. Inhale, draw it in. Interlace the fingers, exhaling down. this is uplifting heaven. Exhale, wash it out. Inhaling deep. Even deeper. Even deeper. Exhaling out. Inhale to the belly. Even deeper. Feel the sides, your obliques expanding out, pulling in even more oxygen. Even deeper, feel your lower back helping pull in oxygen. And even deeper, feel the entire waist, all around, front to back and sides, expanding outward at the same time to pull in air. Exhaling that. Exhalation should be just as long as, if not a little bit longer than the inhalation. Helps lung capacity. Inhaling up, even deeper, the entire waist, even deeper, even deeper. Exhaling down. And widen your stance. The feet will be shoulder length and a half apart. So we're going to widen the stance, shoulder length and a half apart now. And this is a half horse stance, so the body won't be all the way down like Shaolin Kung Fu. It'll be about halfway down, the tailbone drops. So if you find any flex in your lower back, make sure you stick out the butt, drop the tailbone down. And it's not a tuck, you don't want it to go forward, you just want to drop straight down, meaning that you soften any tension in the lower back muscles. You just soften it, fall straight down, helps you to keep a very gentle, aligned spine. And from there, all the work will be done with the pelvis rotating on the femur. So exhaling, pelvis rotates on the femur. You might find a slight activation of your lower back, but it's not a hard flex. Eyes looking straight down. Inhale, breath pulls you to the side and up. Keeping the knees bent, exhaling down. Inhaling, side and up, eyes on the belly button, exhaling down. 2 more times. This is dragon, whips his head. 1 more. Breath should feel like a rope you're climbing, exhaling down. And reverse it. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. 2 more. Drop the hands. Inhaling out. Exhale, wash the palm of the fingertips. Color. Inhale, draw in. Exhale, feel the muscles softening from the top of the head down to the heels on the back. Inhaling up. Exhale, wash the color out. Inhale, draw in. Exhaling, everything softening from the top of the head down to the heels. Inhaling up. In front. Exhale out. Inhale deep, gather, drawing the color into the belly through the arm, to the inside. Both arms, palms facing the ceiling. And exhale, pelvis rotates on the femur. Eyes looking straight down. Elbows move up close to in front of the eyes. The chest is parallel to the ground, so you notice that you have to lift the chest a bit, which helps the back, the spine to straighten. Tailbone, straight line from the tailbone to the top of the head. That's at the top of the head being pulled to the wall in front of you. The tailbone is being pulled to the wall behind you. Inhale to the belly, and exhale, wash the color down the legs, into the ground. Inhale to the belly. Exhale, wash to the lungs, straighten the lungs. Inhale deep. Exhale, wash down the arms, the palms and fingertips. Inhale deep, and exhale, wash through the entire body. Inhale, open your hands, and exhale, reaching the hands through the legs, crossing them for a moment, and then uncrossing them, reaching straight back. As you do so, the upper back might bend a little bit, so lift the collarbone to reestablish your straight posture, back flat like a table. Inhale to the belly. Exhale down the leg. Into the belly. Exhale through the lungs. Into the belly. Exhale down the arms to the palms and fingertips. Into the belly. And exhale, spread the whole body. Straighten into the body. Hands float down. Inhale. Breath lifts the wrists, wrists lift the body. And exhale, washing through the palms and fingertips. So I have a Tai Chi seminar I'm teaching on Saturday, a push hand seminar, which is Tai Chi grappling. So today, we're going to move into some exercises that I love to do that are part of essentially what I'll be running through at the seminar. And we can do, even though push hands is a two-person exercise, we'll be able to run through a lot of them today solo. So it'll be great. So you can do these at home and you can repeat them. And when you have a partner, you can always upgrade them on the partner level. So right now we're just standing for a moment with embracing the one. And that's pretty much because of the fact that I was just talking, but we'll get into a little bit of detail on this exercise, which is the shoulder blades disappear to the upper back, the middle fingers are as high as the shoulders, and all the breathing is in and out through the nose, inhaling into the belly, drawing the color in through the soft part of the arms into the belly. Exhale, washing it out through the hard part at the top and the fingertips. 5 more breaths. In general, anytime we're resting, we're actively resting. So we're resting here right now. Inhale, draw in. And we're going to shift as we exhale to one side, 1 foot. I'm picking my right, but whatever works for you with the camera. If I'm choosing my right hand goes behind my back. If I choose my left goes behind my back. And then the opposite hand and foot come out forward. There are 2 ways to have my supporting leg. You can just do it the natural way, meaning that your foot just comes out. And notice that the toes are lifted off the ground. So only the heel is touching, and you should be able to lift the foot off the ground. The supporting leg, which was what I started this sentence with, this little description, and if you want to get the most strength, should have the toes facing the wall, meaning that both feet essentially should be parallel in 2 parallel lines. But if your back leg is 45 degrees out, that's fine too. It's just easier. So you're not going to be getting the same level of benefit in terms of increasing your strength. But whatever works for you right now. And again, the supporting leg, the same hand is behind the back, specifically on the small of the back. And the opposite hand is extended in front of you, eye on the middle finger of the extended hand. And you're going to exhale and show the palm as you shift forward. When you shift forward, you're in an A-frame. That A-frame is a straight line from the back heel to your top of your head. And then the nose over the knee over the big toe. So there's an imaginary straight line from the nose to the knee to the big toe, and a straight line from the head to the back heel. Exhaling, pushing the hand out like you're showing a mirror. Inhale, and you're going to scoop. You're going to scoop. But this little scoop is actually powered by the breath and powered by the hip. More specifically, the hip powers and the waist and the turn, but all that's powered by your breath. Inhaling, scooping across the inside of the body. Even deeper, looking at the palm like a mirror, eye on the middle finger, and exhale, sliding forward. I'll adjust the camera just a little bit here. Inhale, scoop. The breath pulls you onto your back leg, all the weight on the back leg. You should be able to lift your front. You're seated on the back leg, meaning it's bent. And exhale, show the palm like a mirror. Inhale, scoop. Even deeper, looking at the palm like a mirror. Exhale, show the mirror. Inhale, scoop. Even deeper. Exhale, pushing color visualization through the palm. This exercise can be done on its own as a Qigong, Neigong exercise, which is a component of the Tai Chi system that really isolates breath work, visualization, and biomechanics into essentially consistently repeated exercises. This exercise then transforms and becomes a two-person drill, which is the first very basic Tai Chi push hands exercise. And it's great for learning how to follow an opponent and then redirect the pressure that they give you toward the goal of making them step, moving their weight wherever you want it to go. And let's switch sides, keeping one hand out. Other one comes forward. You have two hands out, and the foot comes forward at the same time. So hand and foot come forward, and then the other foot and hand go back. And inhale, scooping in the other direction, inside. Always scooping toward the inside for this particular exercise. There's many variations. Inhaling, scooping in, even deeper, eyes looking at the palm. Exhale. Scooping in, even deeper. Exhale. Inhale, scooping in, even deeper. Exhale. Even deeper. Scooping in, exhale. And I say show the palm like a mirror. Some might think to actually press the palm out. That's not really necessary. You can actually just slide the hand forward. So you have the mirror here, you turn it and show it like a mirror, and you can exhale, slide the hand. The reason is, what this actually is when you're doing two-person exercises, which means that one hand is pushing on your partner's hand, is that you're going to be pressing with the entire arm, including this little scoop down here at the elbow, and sometimes it might even go beyond to the tricep, etc. So you want to be able to emphasize, or to be able to easily move and not overemphasize any particular part of the hand or the arm. And you want to make it feel like it's one piece moving, and you're fully aware of anywhere that you're making contact on the arm. Inhale, scoop. Even deeper. 3 more times. Inhale, drawing in. Exhale, switching sides. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to stay here for a moment. We're switching sides, and we're going to bring one foot forward, the next leg forward, that was going to be forward anyway. And the corresponding leg, whatever's in front, same hand, corresponding hand will be in front with it, with the back of the hand showing. Other hand will be rested outward. You can imagine that you are wrist to wrist with another partner, and the other hand is on your partner's elbow. And we'll just stay in this position for a moment. 70% of your weight should be forward. You're in what's called a front stance, which is very similar to a boxing stance. But instead of in a boxing stance, the back heel off the ground, you're going to keep the back heel on the ground. 70% of your weight forwards. Again, the concept of the straight line from the big toe through the knee to your nose. And the leg that's behind, the back leg, you want to make sure that the knee is very relaxed and the hip is softened into the groin. So the hip should melt into the lead leg's groin area. That'll help you, you'll feel the muscle, the compression here. And this compression is actually super important. It's like a wind up. So you have all this potential energy, a little sneaky little wind. And when you actually do push hands, which is a form of grappling, you'll have that much more spiral energy, quotes around energy. Essentially, you'll have a spiral mechanism already geared up for you to move your opponent or your partner. So we're here. You can feel very comfortable not doing that. It's really nice not doing the softening of the hip into the groin. Feel really good about life, and it's great. But if you want to compete, you have to soften. They're right here. And when I say have to, there are many different styles of doing this. I'm only well-versed in one that works for myself and our team. So there are people who do this, and you know, they do well. How well? That, you know, always remains to be remains in question. And as you inhale, drawing the breath in through the lead hand, exhaling through the corresponding, the back leg's hand, so the farther back hand. In general, when you inhale in this posture, you would inflate, slightly inflate to take or eat or claim your opponent's space right here with that lead hand. And there's a slight inflation of the tricep when you do so. It's also important to note, if you're a push hands player, that you're consciously giving an opening to your opponent, meaning that if they understand the game, they'll likely be planning, if they're a higher level opponent, they'll be planning to essentially attack this area that you've just given an opening to. So that's okay though, because you're aware that you gave the opening. You'd be more vulnerable if you weren't aware of it. So it's super important to be aware of the opening here. You're giving an opening and you're inflating this hand, or should I say you're exhaling and compressing on this hand on the elbow a bit. And it's a very gentle touch, but you're giving enough push, and sometimes it's enough pressure on your opponent's elbow to see how they react unconsciously. How does their body react to being pressed? That's one of the most important things that you can be mindful of while playing the game of push hands, the competitive game of push hands, because there's a whole suite of push hands exercises that are non-competitive, that are you know, really wonderful for health, etc. And they prepare you for the sport. But the sport, you really want to get into how much you can manipulate an opponent's posture without them noticing until it's too late. Let's switch sides, bring the back leg forward, the forward leg back, and switching the hands. Inhaling, again, inflating the front hand. And when you exhale, you're going to settle in with that back hip. Again, back hip melting into the front groin and allowing that pressure. Notice that when you melt into the front groin, the hip, along with it comes the arm. So you exhale and allow that arm to press into the opponent's elbow. My hand, my lead hand, middle finger is as high as my nose. From the side, I'll cheat downward a little bit so you can see the shape here. It's not a full outward shape. That would be too much. You want to inhale and still be this little opening you're giving. You want to give enough that you can close it. Just enough for someone to notice that it's open, and enough for you to be able to close it quickly. Inhaling through the front hand, inflating, exhaling through the back Again, the corresponding hand, foot, lead foot are the same. And let's switch again. And now we're going to go into an actual drill. The actual drill, this first drill we'll do is an arm drag. And the arm drag can be done many different ways. And since we're only one, it's definitely a partner drill. We're going to focus on a more overt version of the arm drag. And there's actually many different versions of the arm drag. There are wrestling specific versions. There are versions that you drag from arm to a leg, and there's all these wonderful variations. The push hands version that I like the most is essentially a three-part drill. And the first part is just the flick. The flick is a gentle roll. It was actually very explosive, very fast, but it's done gently at first. And it's a roll of the fingertips. And more specifically, these three fingers pointing outward. And you're going to flick down and across to your other hip. And really gentle. And you're going to imagine that you're taking an opponent's wrists. So this is my operating hand. This is the reacting hand. So boom, you're taking an opponent's wrist and you're passing it towards your hip. And my other hand, I'm just leaving for good measure. But it'll come into play in a second. On the side, my lead hand spins to my back hip. Spins to my back hip. Once you finish the move, bring it back. Finish the move, bring it back. Finish the move, bring it with the back of the hand, and then spin again. The angle that you cut with these three fingers is super important because it's actually going to affect how your opponent's wrist flings down. And by their wrist flinging down, by their hand flinging down, it actually pulls the body. So if you spin properly, you're going to get enough spin where your opponent might step or they might shift their balance just by you doing this wonderful little, very sneaky little move here. And we're not integrating anything else yet aside from this movement. And now we'll start to add in the hip. So my hip and waist fully integrated with my body, but led by my fingertips. The breathing is free breathing. I always recommend, not always, but on this particular exercise, I recommend you finding the breath that works for you, the breathing formula that works for you. And again, we're keeping 70% of our weight forward. So you want to make sure that you're still giving your legs the stance work. So you're not necessarily, there is a version, a great version, where you stand up and do exactly what we're doing. But we're going to focus on getting the stance work since we're doing this solo. If you're doing it with a partner, this also works with partners as well. But I would recommend another version, which you can already find online if you just search my name and arm drag. There's a bunch of tutorials online for this. So for the other version, use the waist, feel the hip move to correspond and help with the pull across. But not too much. You don't want to turn too Tai Chi form style right now. Because the second you start getting into competitive push hands, all the circles have to become smaller. And of course, with the smaller the circle, the greater the centrifugal force. So you don't need these big movements. You want very small movements so that, and very, very tight, but not in terms of tension, just again, very small circumference. And you want to spin the ankle downward, whip the hand. And now we're going to start adding the backhand. The backhand after one is going to do two. You're going to scoop the hand up. Once the one is pointing at the hip, you're going to scoop the hand up. Scoop up and across. So now your hands are almost cutting across. And if you'd like, for the purpose of the exercise, not necessarily for practicality, but for the purpose of a solo exercise, we can call it, we're starting at the same position. One goes down across to the hip, so you feel that little flick. And when you feel that little flick, the other hand comes across to the shoulder. So one is aligned with the shoulder, one is aligned with the hip. Again, this is not necessarily practical, nor is it necessarily impractical, but for the purpose of us doing this on Zoom, it'll be, feels pretty good to me. So we're flicking and we're reaching across. This move simulates you moving an opponent's wrist downward, their arm downward, and then getting the other hand behind the tricep near the shoulder area. So you're reaching across before the drag. So this is step 2 out of 3. It's also important to note that we can slow it. It's important to note that we're dragging with, there's a difference between a lead leg and a back leg arm drag as well. So right now we're doing a lead leg arm drag, which is going to require different footwork if you're doing moving step. Depending on the rules of the type of push hand sport game you're playing, there's at least 3 games I've played. One is fixed step, where you can't move your feet at all off of a pedestal. You may be able to pick up a heel or a toe, but you have to keep the foot connected at all times. And then there's restricted step, where you can step only forward and backwards on a line. And then there's full moving step, which is essentially like wrestling. So for this, our lead leg is forward, and if you were doing restricted or moving step, you'd need to make some adjustments. But for fixed step, this will be fine right now. We'll go into 3. So 1, 2, cross, and 3 is pull here. The pull is with a drop, and the other hand can come out if you'd like. So we'll start again in our position. 1, flick. 2, reach under. 3, pull and turn. The pull and turn means that one is pulling, the other one is helping along. So the backhand is just helping along. 1, starting again. 1, flick. 2, reach under the arm. 3, pull and help along. Still 70% of the weight remains forward. 1, 2. And part of the reason for the 70% of the weight remaining forward is that if you shift the weight and pull at the same time, at least in my experience, I can't stress this enough, that the different body types have different capabilities, and therefore there's no one way to coach any of this stuff. So with that being said, in my experience, if you pull back too early or with the opponent, you risk having them add their momentum to your backward movement. Meaning that here, if I go back, they could start pressing on my chest, and then I start falling back, and therefore I'd lose a point. So here, spinning 1, 2, and then 3 on the pull, you continue to favor the 70% of that front leg, even as you turn. And you don't need to shift back to the other leg at all, especially if you're doing fixed step. You can literally launch the opponent from your front leg behind you. It's a really wonderful and interesting feeling. And one of the key components of it is allowing the flexibility in the hip here to open up, and for the knee to push forward as you turn. The knee and the toe, you're really pushing forward as you turn here. So there's a definitive downward energy, downward pressure as you go here. And it's also, of course, in the heel ball of the foot, big toe. So that's just a little extra detail. Flick 1, reach 2, pull 3. And then switching back again. Flick 1, reach 2, pull 3. Flick 1, reach 2, pull 3. Flick 1, remember 1 goes across the hip, reach 2, pull 3. Flick 1. And notice that this flick 1, this is what I was talking about in the beginning, is that the angle, the spin is so dynamic that it doesn't necessarily need the waist moving with it, because you need to whip the waist so much to get to be coordinated with everywhere, every angle of where your fingers are, to be coordinated for waist to fingers. Like that's very particular. So you don't need to do all of that. It's just a cut 1 and allow the other one to come out. So that small little whip gives you enough so that when you reach behind the part 2, the waist is actually working with you. If you went too much on part 1, you'd have to turn all the way back on part 2. So just a little bit on part 1, and already for part 2, you're reaching, and then 3. Turn. 1, 2. 1, 2. And notice that I'm not resetting as we were before. So before we were starting from here, which is great, because if you're starting from a referee saying go, you have this position, then you immediately go right in and then turn. By the time you reach here, the opponent will likely either be coming with you or they'll be pulling back, but if they pull back, then you actually switch to a push. So it's a different game, but different technique. But 1, 2, 3. With 3 more here, we'll switch sides. 1, flick, 2, reach across, 3. 1, 2, and 3. And now let's switch sides. The back leg becomes forward, forward leg and corresponding hand. So I have my right hand, right foot. And notice how I'm starting too. Because of the natural body mechanic of coming forward, I'm actually very much in a more traditional fighting stance, meaning that my body is angled rather than square and coiled like we were talking about, which is to our advantage. So, but both are to the advantage, especially if you've had any fight training. Very important to come into the stance very, very ready for any strike anywhere, just with that mentality. Again, this is my personal perspective of push hands. You come in with that mentality, and then you settle into what can be considered a safer stance, safer playing field, because you're not going to be playing with the head and push hands. At least yet, I would like to implement a new style of push hands that does that. So hand, hand, and now flick, just 1. Back up. And you can exhale down. I think I find myself exhaling a lot when I do the downward motion. And notice that by conducting, almost like a conductor, and if you've done any Tai Chi sword or any Chinese Kung Fu sword forms, you might find a little bit of a similar movement. And noticing how I'm connecting my waist to this. And of course, prior, we started with just the fingertips when we had the last leg forward. So now you can integrate the waist a little bit more in the hips. 70% of the weight forward. If you open up the hip at all, like I'm doing, notice that I'm not keeping the full compression with my back hip into my front groin. I'm not keeping that full compression right now, which is fine for the drill. Whipping down, whipping across. As long as you know that when you add the second hand, you're going to maintain all the best qualities of this first part of the technique. You want to really be very, very critical of yourself. in terms of what works and what doesn't work. And this feels great. This is a wonderful exercise for health. But again, the second you start bringing a partner into it, I always recommend practicality, which essentially just means efficiency. So reaching down, and now two, reach across. So one is by my hip, the other one's by my opposite shoulder. As you can see, there's a distance on both. So my shoulder blades, we're always talking about the shoulder blades disappearing to the upper back. Here's a prime example of the value of the shoulder blades disappearing into the upper back. Because here, right here, if you're playing with an opponent and you're pulling their arm, especially if you're pulling it down, if you're pulling the arm downward, because you can put, quote unquote, put spin on it. You can put spin on these motions to drag an arm down, which would pull your opponent down to the ground sometimes, depending on how strong their stance is and how surprised or not by this technique. You can pull them upward, you can pull them across. So with this, having that little bit of extra space inside your body given by those shoulder blades, the shoulder blades that we always talk about increase when you close the valve, you put them in, they help to increase circulation to the palm of the fingertips, wonderful health benefits. But the other side of that is the Marshall benefits. So here it just gives you that much more of a snap and that much more space to contract. You've expanded, and inside the body, the contraction helps to essentially give you more power on the pull. So really important to reach across and to make sure that you're giving yourself space, that you're not hugging yourself, because this is very much you're reaching into someone else's space. So 1, 2, and then back again. 1, 2, back again. 1, 2, back again. 1, 2, back again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. When you finish 1, it should be right by the hip, and then 2. 1. When you reset for 1, the hand is reset and ready. It should be on an elbow, and then 2 reaches across. 1, 2. 1, 2. Another note, when the 2 happens, you can relax this hand if you'd like. You don't have to keep the pointed. You can relax the hand and allow the palm to essentially be a bumper. This is a very particular detail because this is not the active hand anymore, but the inactive hand is actually a bumper for your opponent so that they don't escape from the lock. So this little relaxation of the hand and making sure that the palm is open is actually super important, especially because you're going to transition this hand behind the opponent in a moment. So the arm, when you have this position, you would likely, I'm going to use this arm as an example, you would likely have your hand inside somebody's arm, and the opponent's arm will be this little wiggling object right around here. So you're using your other hand to block that opponent's arm from wiggling out of the exact move we're doing, the arm drag. So you put the hand down there. If I have my right hand forward, I'm taking their left hand, moving it down and across. I'm sticking my left hand, I'm sticking my left hand through their left tricep underarm area, and I'm blocking now their hand from being able to leave this place. By me moving this hand away, I'm removing the second part of the block, or the first part of the block, but I'm transitioning my body now to block them. So now my whole body is blocking them. I have the arm, and I'm turning them away. And then I go right back to it. Flick 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Guys, hold on one second. I'm gonna grab Autumn because I want to demonstrate this so you can actually see what I'm talking about, so it's not all theory. So give me 1 second. And it's not gonna work out. So back to it. Okay, so we're here, flicking down 1, 2, and go. 1, flick down, 2, and go. I do recommend looking up the arm drag on YouTube. Again, going to my Coach Jan YouTube channel and just Googling Coach Jan arm drag. And there's a bunch of variations. We don't do this exercise. This is actually more of my father's style of drill. And I do it closer to competition. And of course, I have this seminar coming up this weekend, so I am getting into these again. I practice more so other types of arm drags, and but this is a great arm drag. Inhaling in, exhaling down, inhaling up 1, even deeper 2, 3, inhaling up, exhaling down. And step back to the left leg, or whatever leg you use first. And now we're going to do this. We gave ourselves a moment of rest, and now we're going to do this a little bit faster. So the faster versions are going to look very similar. If you've ever done any boxing, they're going to look very similar to uppercuts, as if you're doing these uppercuts like pistons right in front. But the arm drag is going to be like this. The flick 1, drag 2. Flick, drag, pull, flick, drag, pull. So 1, 2, it'll look like this. Oh, hey, Autumn's here, so I can also show, I'll show it first, and then we'll do this wonderful speed drill. So, okay, so let's say we're playing here. Okay, cool. So we're playing here, and my lead hand, my right leg, right foot, lead. And put your hand up here. Thank you so much. Okay, cool. Actually, let's turn it around again. Thank you. Okay, lead hand, elbow. So the drill we were just doing was the flick, the first flick. And notice that her hand is here. And the flick is super important because, stand up, hand on my shoulder. Thank you. So just to kind of give you a sense of what I was talking about, the flick is so important because the flick itself can move somebody off balance. So right now I'm just going to use my right hand, and I'm standing up straight, feet shoulder length apart, and I'm just going to flick her hand. And that little flick made her body move. It's just a flick. So once again, the flick is super important, and you won't always get the body to move, but if you do it enough times, you'll get the at least the motion that you want to set up the second part. So now doing showing the same flick with the stance that we were in, 70% of the front leg, corresponding hand forward, other hand on your opponent's elbow, which is from a competitive standpoint how you normally start push hands. You're going to take this first hand and you're going to flick it down. So now I've passed it toward my hip. The second hand, so again, there we go. Pass it toward my hip. The second hand is going to reach here across the arm, and the third is going to reach behind. And then you have this wonderful little crack. And let's do the same thing from the other side. Thank you. Switch legs. So we're here. I flick this down. I'm reaching across here to this other tricep, and I'm getting her through. So as a note, this exercise, thank you. As a note, this exercise too, full transparency, on the actual exercise that we just did, I just realized that there are some adjustments, and it's a great, anytime I just want to be fully transparent. Sometimes I make mistakes. So this is not actually practical at all. The move that really does work, and I want to show why it's not. The flick completely works, but it completely works from if your opponent's hand is on this side of your body. on the opposite side of your body. So if you're actually in this stance, so it works for a solo exercise, but if you're doing this stance and you're flicking the arm down and you're reaching across the way I just did, notice that this hand, it's too free. It's unrealistic for someone's hand to not to react. And I don't ever want to be the guy that's showing stuff that just doesn't work. So I would likely not be able to pass her arm because her arm instinctually is going to bend. So by it bending, I'm going to block myself off and she'll more than likely move me and I'll lose the point. So if you train what I just showed you, you'll probably lose. So I want to be super clear on that. It's super important for Tai Chi teachers to say this if they're screwing up in public. Okay, this is live stream. So that being said, the actual, thank you for moving around, stand up straight for a second, please. So if you want to do this with legs bent, the way we were doing it. So if you want to do this with legs bent, and thank you guys for being for listening through this while we're actually training. If you want to do this with legs bent and you're playing around, it actually makes way more sense to be doing this not from this stance. So if you're playing around and you're doing it from a freestyle stance, which means this is much more realistic for both real life fighting, for wrestling, for grappling, this is really the stance that people are going to be playing from. They're going to be trying to grab each other. This is called a 50-50 clinch. So if you're in this scenario, now you can start to do exactly what we were doing before. So in other words, it's the starting point that's wrong about the exercise that we did. You can still do it, and you can still, it's still a wonderful movement. You still are getting the core mechanics. But if you start from here, then you can actually apply it properly. Meaning that the same move we did does work from here, flicking down the outside hand, meaning that my right hand is connected to her left, flicking it down across, 1. 2, I reach across. So now I have that, as you can see, my bottom hand, it's not grabbing. A wrestler might grab, but in Tai Chi, you would keep the hand open. So it's very much past. I've passed it, she's in, past my hip, rather than in front of my hip or on either side. So I move it across. 2, I reach under the arm. And 3, boom, there we go. So now it works. So again, if you're doing it wrist to wrist, it can work, but it has to be adapted. The wrist to wrist version is not actually an arm drag, it's a pop. So the wrist to wrist version, and we won't go into too much detail, but you actually press, and normally your opponent will naturally push back. The second you feel that push back, you might want to press 1, 2, and you'll get 2 presses back unconsciously from the person. When that happens, boom, then you slide the arm in, and then you drag on the same side. And that's, so it's very much a different, it's a different technique, which we were not doing. The one we were doing doesn't work from here. Again, just want to be super clear. It works from here. So her hand's here. I take my outside, let's switch to the other side, please, but we're going to keep the same leg forward. I still have my same lead leg forward. I'm defending from the outside. I'm in mid-range. She's trying to get in. I take this hand and I figure out how to pass this. I flick it and I pass it through my hips. So slow motion, here's our first move, 1. And then 2, I'm already set up to come in here. I have wrist issues, so sometimes I actually do this rather than the grip, than the actual grip. If I had more flexible hands, wrists, then I would likely just do this all the time, which is the traditional arm drag position, which is right under the tricep. And then I keep this here because if I don't keep my hand here, she can defend. So if she does that, then there's no arm drag anymore. So I keep my hand here and I start to lean. Not all the way that I cut myself off, but I get ready to either pass her through, which was the move we were doing. And if you can move your arms, if you can move your legs, excuse me, then you might actually step around. And again, even here, the step might be just a small little stagger step to connect your chest to the back, or it might be a jump around and you turn the opponent into a teapot. And you essentially start stepping with them, and it's almost like a waltz, and you just really dance them around, and then you toss them out of the ring. So again, this move that we're doing here, it totally works, but it does not work from the wrist to wrist, opposite hand to wrist position. So I said that it would before, and I was completely wrong. Don't do that. So thank you. I can't stand Tai Chi teachers who tell you something is going to work and then it doesn't work, and especially is not transferable outside of like a form of agreement that, hey, we're doing Tai Chi, and it's if you don't do it my way, it's not Tai Chi. That kind of thing. That's the poison of the Tai Chi world. So I do my best to admit mistakes as fast as I possibly can, and also to be very transparent when I get beat up, because I've gotten totally beat up, and you should be able to find it online, and I love that it's online. It's great. It's supposed to be. Okay. So, okay, yeah. Let's finish up with some stretches. Let's see. First, since we spent so much time on that, I want to give a quick inhale to the heart area. Wash it down. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, push the light forward. Inhale, draw in. Exhale, push to the side. I'm standing, feet shoulder length apart and parallel. Exhale, push the light forward. Inhale, draw in. Exhale, push to the side. Inhale, draw. One more time each side. Light forward. Exhale, push it out. Inhale, draw. Other side. Forward. Draw in. Exhale, side. Draw in. As you draw in your inhale, exhale, push up. Exhaling down, widen the stance. Inhale, draw in. And when you draw in, feel the breath and the visualization coming up even through the kidneys and the heart. Up. Exhaling down. Scoop as you draw in. If you've done any of the Negon with us before, especially the ones where you draw the breath in through the fingertips as if they're straws sucking up water. This is one of the moments to give yourself that visualization. Inhale, drawing in. Push it through, up. Exhaling down and sit. Now we're doing a deeper stance. We're starting to stretch the knees, pushing out. Weight on the heels, pushing out. Inhaling up. Reaching up. Exhaling down as if my hands are waterfalls, pushing down, and then inhale, drawing in, belly coming out. Up. 3 more. 2 more. 4 more. Feet 2 fists apart, parallel. Inhaling up. Fingers to the back wall. Chest is ceiling, hips forward with the toes. Exhale. Butt back, fingers forward. Bend the knees, inhaling up. Fingers back, chest up. Hips forward, bend the toes. Exhale. Butt back, fingers forward. 1 more, inhaling up. Fingers to the back wall, chest up, hips forward, bend the toes. Exhale, butt back. Inhaling up. And one foot's going to go forward, toe up, exhaling down. Grab the toes, inhale deep again. Exhale, right, kiss the toe. And pull in, and then inhale, come up. Switch sides. Exhaling down. Grab the toes, inhale deep. Big breath, exhale, pull in, kiss the toes. Inhaling up. Switch legs, now 45 degrees out. Exhaling down. Hold the toes, inhale deep. Exhale, pull. Try to kiss the toe. Inhaling up, switch. 45 degrees, exhaling down. Hold. Inhale deep. Exhale, pull in, try to kiss the toe. Inhaling up. Switch 90 degrees. Exhaling down. Hold on the toes. Inhale deep. Exhale, pull in, try to kiss the toes. Inhaling up. Switch one more time. Exhaling down. Hold the toes. Inhale deep. Exhale, pull in, try to kiss the toes. Inhale. Exhaling. And inhale, switching sides. If you need to hold on to something, that's fine. Otherwise, pick a spot on the wall with your eyes. No matter what, pick a spot on the wall with your eyes. And hold. Inhale deep. I'm holding by my toes, the top of my foot by my toes, and I inhale into the belly. Exhale through the kneecap. The knee becomes heavy and opens the hip. When you feel the weight of the gravity naturally doing what it does and pulling the knee down, then you lift up. So inhale to the belly, exhale, knee falls. Inhale deep, exhale, knee falls, and then you pull. Inhale to the belly, exhale, knee falls, you pull. Inhale to the belly, exhale, knee falls, you pull. And drop down, switch sides. Inhale up, exhale onto the side that you want. Inhale and grab. You can go from the ankle. You can hold the ankle if you want. I've started doing walking my fingers up to near the toe area so I can really stretch the top of the toes, top of the foot. Inhale to the belly. Exhale, knee falls, and the hip opens. Hip groin area. Start feeling that opening. Inhale deep. Exhale, feel the opening and pull. And it should be a 1, 2, 3. Exhale, fall, pull. Inhale deep. Exhale, fall, pull. Inhale deep. Exhale, fall. And drop down. Inhaling up onto the toes. Exhale, wash down both legs. Shoulder length apart. Inhaling up, white line to the belly. Turn to the right side onto your toes. Exhaling down. Inhaling up, white line, turn to the left side. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Over the head. Exhaling, washing behind you down. Inhaling up. One more uplifting heaven. Chest, inside one, turn it down the outside, other side, up the inside, turn it down the outside, over the shoulders, out back. Inhaling up. 3 more. Rub the fingers and hands together. Really get some heat going. And then exhale, wash it into the lungs, around the pectoral major muscles, around the breast, and tapping around the perimeter of the pectoral major muscle. And then massage deep into the lymph nodes and pressure points inside the muscle, even getting into the cracks between the rib cage, the space between the ribs, and then floating rib up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 fingers on the sternum, up and down with the immune system. Hook on either side of the collarbone. Hook underneath the lip, and thumb under the chin and squeeze for the hormones. 1, 2, 3, other side, massage. 1, 2, 3. Earlobes for sleep. 1, 2, 3, 4. For the immune system again, up the front of the ear, over the top of the ear, behind, down the back, and under. Very strong pressure. 2, 3, 4. Up the front to the side. Up the front to the side. Fingers to the back wall. Front to back, back to front. Front to back to front massage. Front to back to front and slapping. Front to back to front, hollow fist, gentle banging, front to back to front, 4 fingers on top of the forehead. 1, 2, 3, 4, and reverse it. 2. Temples, 1, 2, and reverse it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Under the eyes, 1, and reverse it. In the groove between the eyeballs and the bone with the thumbnail, tap around the inside to out, going over the top, back in, down again, and then second circle bigger, third circle biggest. Middle finger, either side of the eyebrows, 2, 3, bridge of the nose, side, nostrils, right here to the heart, where the lip meets the nose, switch sides, press and hold, top and bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, switch, sides and the top, above the gums, 1, 2, 3, 4, below the teeth and gums from the groove, with the fingers fall right into the grooves and go, 1, 2, 3, and then tongue, and reverse it, and flick the fingers out, thumbs, 1, 2, 3, grab, 1, 2, press and hold, and drill, 1, 2, 3, tap around, 1, second circle bigger, 2, third circle bigger, 3, top and bottom, and sides, top and bottom, and sides. Really let the massaging fingers fall into the groove of the receiving fingers, and sides, top and bottom, and sides, top and bottom, and sides. Other side, press and hold in the center, and drill, 1, 2, 3, and then press around, 1, second circle bigger, 2, third circle bigger, 3, top and bottom, and sides, top and bottom, and sides, top and bottom, and sides, top and bottom, top and bottom, and sides. And then 1, 2, 3, grab, 1, 2, 3, close the eyes, inhale, white line to the belly. Exhale, spread the entire body. Head to toe. From the toes to the top of the head, inhale, white light. Wash it up like a tidal wave. Exhale, roll down the back from head to heels like a waterfall. Inhale, the left side, foot to head, tidal wave. Exhale down the right side, head to foot, waterfall. Inhale, white line to the belly. Exhale, spread the whole body. Inhale, white line to the belly. Exhale, push to the top of the head like a fountain that surrounds the body like a big bubble of light. One more breath. White line to the belly. Exhale, wash it down the legs into the ground. And come back up and around like a fountain in reverse with your bigger bubble of light around you. Sit in the white light, have gratitude for the body, good people in your life, space you're in. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for
Thank you, Dan.
bearing with me through.
Hey, I love that.
mistake.
Yeah, me too. That was a great class. You know, oftentimes when you show people how to do something wrong or what not to do, and like in your case, you explained why, that was so instructive. So it was
Yeah,
excellent.
I love that, Jan.
Oh,
It was the best.
oh, thank you. Well, and thank you guys. I love you guys, and thank you everybody who watches on YouTube. Love you guys too. And of course, you know, this is Justice for Hire's Tai Chi to the people. And you can always join the Justice for Hire cast at justiceforhire.app. Right now, we are live. And you'll find us all over social media with a bunch of stuff happening there too. And if you ever want to donate to the cause of the week, which is this week's a community member's family paying for their medical bills on GoFundMe, you can find that link on my Tai Chi site, janstaichi.com. All the way at the bottom, press the Tai Chi to the People link and it'll take you to their GoFundMe. So that being said, always reach out with any questions, and love you guys. And I'm going to press stop on this recording now.